Because I know not everyone reads fantasy books, in today's video I want to talk about my favorite fantasy online games. So hello my fellow fantasy nerds, as I'm gonna call you for this video. My name is Kathy and I'm a god girl from Belgium who loves reading fantasy books but also enjoys playing a good fantasy game. In today's video I want to talk about online games, online MMORPGs more particularly, that I really enjoyed, or if I didn't enjoy them, why I didn't enjoy them as much, because for some of these there is a particular reason. And I'm gonna start with my absolute favorite game that I've played, and this game is actually the only game that is this type of game that I've ever completed. So I went to the max level at the time that it was, and I also got like a specific set of armor that I wanted. And this is Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars, the first game I actually discovered when I was still like in school, when I was like 15, 16, 17 years old maybe. One of my friends had it. This is back when it was partially online, but you could also play it offline. It was with discs that you had to put into your computer, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. But back then I played a support type character. So I was one of the magic classes, I can't even remember which one, but that was like the first Guild Wars that I didn't own myself. And then whenever Guild Wars 2 released, I was actually in university type school, and I had time because it was one of my last years and I already had like less classes because I had finished some of the exams early, etc. So I could really binge game. So that's what I did. I went to school, I came home, I went on my computer, started gaming until we had to eat, and then after we ate I continued gaming until I should sleep. Then I like put my computer into like sleep mode for half an hour until my parents thought I was sleeping, and then I continued gaming until very early in the morning. But yeah, in Guild Wars 2 I feel like the world building was done exceptionally well with all of the different realms. You had the levels in the different realms as well, so you were like muted or downgraded to the level of the realm you were in, so everything played really smoothly. Of course, if you were lower level going to higher level, then you had an issue. But yeah, I really loved it, and I used to of course play a necromancer. I was the Sylvani class, so one of the forest type creatures, and to this day I still look back at the period of time that I played this game with very much love. I just wish that there was a Guild Wars 3 in the works. I hope there is someday coming out. Yeah, this game really changed everything for me, gaming-wise. This was the first game that I actually lived more into the game world than in the actual world. It was a dark period of time for me mentally as well, but yeah, this game really helped me through it, and to this day it is one of my absolute favorites. And still, if I could cosplay, then I would definitely cosplay my character from that game. Another game that is talked about a lot is World of Warcraft, or WoW in a gaming community. I actually played this game once or twice because whenever we used to go to gaming conventions, and I used to go to gaming conventions every year with my father and my brother, then we would get like a voucher for 1, 2 or 3 months of free WoW to play. So I used to play it a little bit. But because it was a game that you had to pay to play, I didn't really feel inclined to keep on gaming it. I prefer to just buy a game once and pay maybe a little bit more for it than to have to pay like a monthly subscription to keep on playing. I don't feel like that's fair, but that's just my opinion. Gameplay wise, I did really enjoy World of Warcraft, but it's not a game that I think I would ever play again. Then if we go way back to when I was 12, 13, there was the original Runescape. Not the RuneScape that is played now, but like the very old one with the not so nice graphics and with the level caps, etc. I used to play RuneScape together with my brother, and we only had one computer at home. So whenever my brother went to one of his friends, we could play together online, but other than that, we would like really alternate. And I remember because my brother and his best friends, they used to be like very competitive at this game. They were like always fighting in the zones where it was PvP, and I would just be like support for them. So I remember having like a very high cooking level and like the fishing and everything. Those skills for me were very high, but none none of the combat skills. And that's also a little bit on how I play those games. I tend to like to play a very supportive role and not particularly an attacking role. And that's also why in some of these other games I really enjoy the necromancer characters, because you can just like have a horde of zombies and those zombies or other creatures will then attack your enemies and you don't really have to do it yourself. But in RuneScape, of course, I had the armor, we had like specific capes and party hats and everything. And I know nowadays people would give good money to have my old account with all of those things, but I don't remember the login nor the password, so yeah. And then if we go to a very recent and highly praised game, we of course need to look at Baldurs Gate. Baldurs Gate for me did not work for one particular reason: the dice rolling system. If I play a game, I want to have someone with abilities and abilities that you can scale, and not having the success of those abilities depend on a role in game. So I know a lot of people play with cheats, I know a lot of people play with advantages on their rolls, etc., which I fully understand because it annoyed the hell out of me. And honestly, I played it once with, or twice maybe, with a group of friends, and then I tried to get back into it by myself, and it's just not for me. And it's very unfortunate because I do really like the atmosphere of the game, so I prefer actually watching other people play the game than playing it myself. And I think that's a pity, but it's also something that is okay. It's better to, for me at least, follow someone who enjoys playing a game than to force myself to play something that I don't enjoy. And then of course, also very recently there was Diablo 4. Now, fun fact, I never played Diablo before playing Diablo 4. So for me, it was my first time getting into the game. And this is really like a hoarding game. That's the best way that I can describe it. You have to hoard specific tokens and get X amount of this and X amount of that. And every zone has something that you have to restart. And for me, it's just like, it was very repetitive. I do really like the storyline, and I did play a bigger part of the storyline than I anticipated to do, but because there are so many side quests and dungeons and special things that you can also do, I feel like it was very easy for me to get distracted from the main quest and not continue doing it and getting lost in all of the tiny other tasks. But those tiny side quests were also like very repetitive, which is something that I didn't really enjoy. And also the world was kind of always more of the same instead of having like really different realms. So that didn't help the enjoyment of the game either for me. So I think I played 10, 20-ish hours on this game before I was like meh about it and prefer spending my time reading books. And then of course there is Elder Scrolls Online, and this is a game that has redeemed this genre for me in recent years. It is a game that some of my friends have been playing for a very, very, very long time and that I only recently got into, but I feel like it's still a good game. The only downside to me is because I get into the game now when all of the expansions have been released. I get to like play it all at the same time, and it's a bit confusing. So when I started doing the first quests, everything really nice, love the environment building, but then I get into this sort of hub space between all of the different realms and all of the quests, and then it starts to get like a bit muddy for me. So I'm trying to complete quests here and there, but I don't know what the main storyline is, and I don't really know what's going on, but I do love the world, and yeah, it feels a bit confusing for me right now, but I have to admit that I haven't played as many hours in it yet as I would like to. So maybe someday in the future I will make an update on my love for Elder Scrolls Online. For now, none of these games come nearly close to Guild Wars 2. And then finally, a game that I think was released by Amazon during COVID, or right after COVID if I'm not mistaken, was called New World. And this was like announced as the best MMORPG in years. Well, it wasn't. It was a fun game, don't get me wrong, but you had like the same system more or less as in Guild Wars. You create a character, you have like the world building that's going on with the different zones, with the different levels. The first zones I really liked, with the pirates and the water and everything, with the crocodiles, really enjoyed them. And the second tier, you kind of go on more into foresty type. And then there was a zone that I really remember because it was really dark and doom and gloom and graveyards and everything. And like one of the creatures even has like a big coffin on his back. And I enjoyed the aesthetics of it, I enjoyed the music as well, but if you keep playing in that zone for hours and hours, it gets really depressing. So that's the point that a few of the people in my group, because we used to play it with 3 to 4 people at the same time, like always playing together. And in that zone, in that particular zone, is where we felt a little bit depressed. So it was really difficult for us to advance through that zone. So that's also when we more or less stopped playing. I do know that we played it for a lot of hours. We also used to play it together, build things, work on things, have our own like house in one of those cities and stuff. So it was a really fun game. But then at some point it was like, okay, we've reached a level where we're happy at. We don't really feel the need to keep on pushing. They also did a lot of changes for bugs in the games, and they reset a few things and a few other things changed, and it wasn't really like for the better. So we just stopped playing altogether. So at this point, out of all of the games that we've played, the only one that we still play from time to time is Elder Scrolls Online, and I still have Guild Wars 2 for very nostalgic reasons. Sometimes I just log in for 15 minutes just to see my character walk around in the foresty area, gather some things, but don't really craft with them. I just really love the vibe of Guild Wars 2, and I really hope that in the future there will be a Guild Wars 3, and hopefully I will be as happy with the game as I was with Guild Wars 2, because I do miss getting lost in games the way I used to. Of course, if you've played one or more of these games, feel free to let me know in a comment down below. What is your opinion on them? What did you like or dislike about it? And of course, if there's more games in this particular genre that you think I should check out, you can always let me know as well. Give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I make new videos every week, and I would love to have you for every single one of them. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon with a new video. Bye!